Welcome to today's discussion on a growing threat in India's digital landscape, digital arrest scams. These scams are incredibly sophisticated, preying on people's fear and lack of awareness. We have an expert with us today to shed light on this critical issue.
The scale of these scams is alarming. They're not just about financial loss, they cause significant emotional distress.
Absolutely. The emotional impact can be devastating. What are some of the most common tactics used by these scammers?
They often impersonate authority figures, creating a sense of urgency and fear. They might claim to be from the income tax department or the police, threatening arrest unless immediate payment is made.
And how effective are these tactics? What makes them so successful?
The combination of fear and urgency is incredibly powerful. Many victims, especially older generations, are hesitant to question authority, leading them to act without thinking critically.
Let's start with the basics. Can you define what a digital arrest scam is for our listeners?
A digital arrest scam is a type of cybercrime where fraudsters impersonate law enforcement, government officials, or financial institutions. They threaten victims with arrest or legal action unless they pay a fabricated fine or fee. It's all a lie, designed to exploit fear and urgency.
And the term digital arrest itself, it's quite evocative. Why is that term used?
The term highlights the scammers' use of technology. They contact victims through emails, phone calls, SMS, and social media, creating a sense of officialdom through caller ID spoofing and realistic-looking documents.
The article mentions a significant rise in cyber fraud in India. What are the contributing factors?
India's rapid digital expansion is a double-edged sword. Increased online banking and digital transactions create more opportunities for fraud. Coupled with a knowledge gap in cybersecurity awareness, particularly among older generations and those in rural areas, it's a perfect storm.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but also the societal context?
Precisely. Respect for authority and a lack of comprehensive cybersecurity education make many people vulnerable. The government's push for a cashless economy, while beneficial, has also inadvertently increased vulnerability.
Can break down the mechanics of these scams. How do they manipulate their victims?
They exploit two key psychological principles: fear and urgency. They use official-sounding language, impersonate known institutions, and create a sense of urgency with impending deadlines. They might even fabricate legal documentation to appear more convincing.
It sounds incredibly well orchestrated. What tools and technologies do they use?
Caller ID spoofing is crucial, making calls appear to come from legitimate agencies. Phishing emails and SMS messages, fake documents and websites, and sophisticated social engineering techniques all play a part.
Why are these scams so prevalent in India specifically?
Several factors contribute. The deep-seated respect for authority makes people more likely to obey instructions from someone claiming to be an official. High trust in digital communication, coupled with a lack of comprehensive cybersecurity education, creates a fertile ground for these scams.
So it's a combination of cultural norms and technological vulnerabilities.
Exactly. It's a complex interplay of socioeconomic and cultural factors that make India particularly susceptible.
Why is addressing these scams so crucial? What's the impact?
The financial and emotional toll is immense. Victims lose savings, suffer psychological stress, and experience lasting distrust. On a broader scale, it erodes public confidence in digital services, hindering India's economic and digital progress.
What are some of the key steps needed to combat this?
Raising public awareness is paramount. Strengthening law enforcement and reporting mechanisms is also vital. Finally, promoting cybersecurity best practices through education and public-private partnerships is essential.
The article identifies several target groups. Who are they and why are they particularly vulnerable?
Senior citizens are highly vulnerable due to their trust in authority and limited tech literacy. Professionals and business owners are targeted for their perceived wealth and fear of reputational damage. Students and young adults are susceptible due to their naivete and eagerness for opportunities. Low-income families are targeted due to their financial vulnerability. High-profile individuals are targeted for their wealth and fear of reputational damage.
So it's not just about age or income, but also about specific vulnerabilities within each group?
Precisely. Scammers tailor their approach to exploit the specific anxieties and trust levels within each demographic.
Can you walk us through the step-by-step process of a typical digital arrest scam?
It begins with target identification, often using publicly available information. Then comes initial contact, usually via phone or email, using spoofed numbers or fake official-looking communications. Next, they fabricate a false legal scenario, creating a sense of urgency and fear. Finally, they demand payment or personal information.
And what happens after the victim pays?
Often, they're asked for more money. The scammer might disappear or continue the scam until the victim realizes they've been defrauded.
What are some of the key technological tools used by these scammers?
Caller ID spoofing is a major one. They also use phishing emails and SMS messages, create fake documents and websites, and employ sophisticated social engineering techniques. Fake QR codes and payment links are also increasingly common.
How can people protect themselves from these technological tactics?
Being vigilant is key. Verify all communications, don't click on suspicious links, and use strong passwords and two-factor authentication. Keep your software updated and use reputable antivirus software.
What is the overall impact of these scams, both financially and psychologically?
The financial losses can be devastating, ranging from a few thousand rupees to lakhs, but the psychological impact is equally significant, causing fear, anxiety, shame, and even long-term trauma. It can erode trust in digital platforms and institutions.
And what about the broader societal impact?
It erodes public confidence in digital transactions, strains law enforcement resources, and disproportionately impacts vulnerable communities. It can lead to a decline in productivity and economic participation.
So, what can be done to address this problem?
A multi-pronged approach is needed. We need enhanced public awareness and education campaigns, legal reforms to strengthen penalties against cybercriminals, and a strengthening of cybersecurity infrastructure. Financial institutions need to improve fraud protection, and mental health support for victims is crucial.
What's the role of law enforcement and cybersecurity agencies?
They need specialized training, increased resources, and better coordination to effectively combat these scams. Establishing regional cyber cells can improve accessibility for reporting.
What practical steps can individuals take to protect themselves?
Learn about common scams and their red flags. Verify all communications, secure your digital devices, and avoid sharing personal information online. Report scams to the appropriate authorities. Learn how to check fake links and QR codes.
Are there any specific resources you would recommend for people to learn more?
The National Cybercrime Reporting Portal is a good starting point. There are also many NGOs and cybersecurity firms that offer assistance and resources. Staying informed and vigilant is key.
That was a great discussion. Thank you for sharing your expertise and providing such valuable insights into this critical issue. Hopefully, this discussion will help listeners understand the threat of digital arrest scams and take steps to protect themselves.